go to sleep, meditate, just take a day or two and allow yourself to be in that space of not knowing, and then let that kind of intuitive genius that's just had this refresh kind of rise up from within. Eclipses are like spiritual reboots. They're pretty powerful. They're like when your computer gets overloaded and starts running a bit slow and things start crashing, and then you just turn it off and turn it on again. It's like the fix-all for so many things. You're meant to be as wonderfully weird and eccentric and not fitting in as you are, and that's all divinely designed, and you'll have your blooming pattern and your own timing, and you can trust it.
So welcome to the Michelle Chalfant Show, Alana Fairchild.
Hi.
I'm so happy.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I was just sharing with you, I have all my Oracle decks over here. You have created over how many years all these, I mean, there's so much that you do. Let me read a little bit about it. For those of you that don't know Alana Fairchild, can I do just a little intro? Let me do a little intro. She's a mystic creatrix. She's a rare visionary with decades of experience as a sound healer, vocalist, writer, teacher, and performer. Alana is a globally renowned figure considered a publishing phenomenon in the metaphysical industry, with over 70 titles in print ranging from books, oracle cards, music, and meditation albums, and more. Woo! How long have you been doing all of this work?
Kind of came into this world with my light switched on, so I feel like I've been doing it since I was born, but publishing since around 2010 or 11, I think it was, when the Kuan Yin
Wow.
Oracle came out. Yeah.
Was that your first one?
That was my first deck. I had a few albums of meditation prior to that, and then it just kind of
You're speaking of this
bloomed.
one?
Yes, speaking is when I prepared earlier.
I also have the Kuan Yin book. Your cards are, they speak to me. They're absolutely lovely. I mean, every single one of them. We have Isis. How many Oracle decks do you have? I mean,
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I actually don't know. It's more than 20. I think it's somewhere around 23 or
oh my
something
gosh.
or more. I don't know. I haven't
Oh my
actually
gosh.
counted. Yeah.
For those of you that know her, I'm curious, and we'll ask this during the Q&A at the end, but what's your favorite deck from Alana? Because these are this is my go-to every day, the Earth Warriors. The Earth Warrior Oracle is my fave, but I love them all. I mean, I told you I pull one every morning. It's part of my morning ritual every single morning. I sit on my lake and I grab that deck plus one other. I feel which one and I grab it. So much to talk to you about, because I know a lot of people don't even know what Oracle decks are. So I don't even know where I want to begin with you, because there's so much we can talk about. Let's start out with eclipse season. Let's start there. So many people have been talking, and in September, we are in September. I'm not sure when this is going to air. Maybe September. I'm not sure. But let's talk about eclipse season. What is happening with these double eclipses?
So this happens every year, twice a year. It's always powerful. The sign changes, the date is similar, but not always exact. But it's generally around this time of year. And eclipses are like spiritual reboots. They're pretty powerful. They're like when your computer gets overloaded and starts running a bit slow and things start crashing, and then you just turn it off and turn it on again. It's like the fix-all for so many things. It's a little bit like that happening at a cosmic level. And I think one of the challenges with eclipse season, and one of the opportunities, is that we can switch off and allow ourselves to go in a state of not knowing and just kind of park everything, park the problems, park the analysis, just give it a break. Go to sleep, meditate, just take a day or two and allow yourself to be in that space of not knowing, and then let that kind of intuitive genius that's just had this refresh kind of rise up from within. So it's really a time to let go and allow for something greater, your own wisdom, the universal intelligence, whatever you want to call it, but to kind of infuse you like a tea, just give it a beat. And you come out, and then allowing yourself to kind of move forwards in a new way. And because we get the lunar and the solar eclipse, we have this chance kind of twice to do it. So it's like supercharged full moon, supercharged new moon, and
Mm.
we can kind of move forwards with this cosmic reset. It can be subtle but powerful. And the reason I think it's a challenge is that generally in the modern world, especially with technology, which has its good points, but it's always on, right? It's always on. So giving
Mhm.
ourselves that chance to kind of drop into more of the divine feminine rhythms, I call it, we see it in the earth. You know, she has seasons, she
Mhm.
has time, night and day. We kind of need to give ourselves that space to just process and let things happen.
So what are some of the symptoms that people will feel during this eclipse season? And the eclipse season is much more than September 7th and September 22nd. Like this is they're portals that open that we're going to feel the effects of these before and after. But I mean, we just went through September 7th and I was like, whoa, that was big.
Yeah, it was powerful, I think, for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Look, it can be disconcerting anytime we're being kind of reshuffled by the universe or we're being recalibrated from our own wisdom being, our own soul. There is this sense of the things that I've been certain about or the things that I've held on to, or even the way that I've been visualizing how I want to manifest whatever it might be, my life's work or
Mm.
my relationships, whatever it is. All of that comes into question. And if we have a kind of underlying strong spiritual support where we can lean into that and we still feel that sense of certainty, even when the outer forms of our life or even our own minds are going through this sense of being shuffled or being reorganized, disorganized to be
Mm.
reorganized, right?
Mm.
Repatterned. If we have that sense of that deep spiritual connection, we can write it out. We can say, look, doesn't feel great right now. I might like having clarity in my life. I might like feeling that I'm taking steps and they're yielding the results that I anticipated. But I also understand that at certain times there may be a bigger plan at play. There may be an aspect of growth that needs to happen. There may be some other blessing around the corner that if I continue on this trajectory, as logical and beautiful as it seems, I might miss out. So sometimes we have
Mm.
to trust that bigger guiding hand. And when we can kind of know that, but it doesn't necessarily make it easier. So symptoms can be anything from I feel unsettled,
Yeah.
even I feel full out depression, or
Yeah.
suddenly hit with exhaustion. I call it like when spirit hits you on the head and just go,
Yeah.
it's like the nap wisdom. You've got to take a sleep, girl. Like just stop trying to analyze everything. Spend 5 hours doing this and exhaust yourself. Or you could just nap for 20 minutes and you'll come out refreshed and you'll let things happen. So it can be anything from that kind of sense of I'm a bit uneasy to feeling full on just exhausted. And also, you may love it. You may be riding the wave of it and be feeling like I feel free from having to hold on to everything and it's good to let it go. So it really just depends where we're sitting with it emotionally. But you
Mm.
will feel some kind of subtle repatterning taking place and it's meant to happen.
Yeah. I was hit with tremendous I mean, I woke up, I think it was just 2 or 3 days before the 7th of September, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
And I knew about the eclipse, but it was so much grief.
Wow.
I just woke up with it, and I felt depressed and grief, and I was exhausted. I was just exhausted, and I tended to myself. I took a nap. I laid low that day. I was out in my kayak. I spent time on water that day. I was like, "I need water. I don't know whose grief it is, but I don't know if it's mine or someone else's, but I'm gonna let it be here and let it process through me." And then the next day it was gone. It was just done. It was
I
just done.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And I love that you mentioned grief. Like
Mhm.
when I kind of witness what's happening in the world right now, not only for a lot of individuals, but collectively, there is a massive amount of grief, some of it being owned and some of it being, avoided and kind of almost blasted and hurried over. But as weird as it sounds to say, because I've been through grief myself numerous times, and no one who's been through it is going to say it's fun. It's
No,
not.
it's
It's
not
not.
fun. No.
It's not fun, but I am nonetheless a huge fan of it. And some of the divine feminine energies that I love working with, Mother Mary, Goddess Isis, they're very much these kind of goddesses that are connected with grief. And the reason I'm a fan of it is that it has this massive transformational potential because it really does pull us out of the world that we were in and the way that we related to the world. And anyone that's gone through it will know you can get a bit zombie like when you're
Yeah. Oh,
going
yeah.
through it
Yeah.
and you don't know when you're going to pop up again. It might be quick, because you really go into it in the way that you did. For others, it might be a more significant loss, but there's something around it that has the potential to give us the rebirth that we couldn't access in any other way. So it takes courage, but there's a genius in it. And even though it's painful and it's difficult, there's a goodness in it, I believe, as well, something that's actually calling us forwards.
Mm. You let's shift gears a little bit into the divine feminine. Now you talk a lot about divine feminine. A lot of people now talk about it, but you've been talking about it for a long time.
I have.
So can you just for our audience that might not really know what it is, what does that even mean? Divine feminine, divine masculine? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, to me, these are energies that every being has in their heart, in their soul. So it's not necessarily grounded or related to gender. So when we're talking about divine feminine, that's every being. And what that means to me is this innate, kind of like a mothering intelligence. So I don't mean mothering only in the literal biological way, I mean it in a more expansive way. So that can be mothering your own soul, it can be giving birth to something, it could be a relationship, it could be your life's work, it could be a part of your own soul birthing if you've had to reclaim your authentic self from maybe family or societal conditioning that didn't completely resonate for you. Maybe you're on a path in your life. For example, I trained in law. I was getting depression, anxiety. I thought this is not the path for me. I had to kind of pull myself back from all of the things that I'd learned about how I was supposed to be in the world and give myself permission to figure out who I was, what meant something to me, basically like a kind of self-mothering and then rebirthing into a path that resonated. And I think for a lot of us, this idea of learning to be in touch with our own value system, figuring out what that is, differentiating it from the stuff that we're fed through media and society on a daily basis now is really important. And it's the feminine energy that allows us to do that because it's very much connected to intuition and kind of the resonance, the things that strike us as feeling true. And without it having to be the same for everyone. I think that's important because otherwise, if we don't give ourselves and others that freedom, how do we really know, who we are, what really matters to us? We're always trying to move with the curve rather than allowing that feminine wisdom, which is also about cycles and timing, in my view. So, you might bloom at a certain age. It has nothing to do with the ages and the things that are supposed to happen at certain ages that we're told about. That may not be your trajectory, your blooming pattern. And when we're kind of leaning into that feminine energy, the divine feminine, it's really trusting. Your soul knows what it's doing. You have your own way. You're meant to be as wonderfully weird and eccentric and not fitting in as you are. And that's all divinely designed. And you'll have your blooming pattern and your own timing, and you can trust it. So when you have people in touch with that divine feminine energy, there's this beautiful sense that they kind of know who they are, even as they're also learning who they are because it's a blooming, it's not a static thing. And they kind of trust the process. And then the divine masculine energy is what kind of comes in at the right moment to say, okay, you're ready. How do we move this into the world? How do we interact? How do we kind of leave the home, the symbolic home of self, and start to venture out and connect with others and share whilst keeping that integrity? So it's not sort of we do one and then the other. There's this dance, but there's definitely a sense of timing. And for me, I talk a lot about the feminine because it's a thing that has to happen first. You have to be able to know who you are first. You have to be able to love. If you can't love yourself and love what's happening in your life, you can't heal. So we need that first.
So how would someone cultivate that divine feminine in their life now if they're not there?
Yeah, I love that question. For me, I didn't like it. I didn't like the journey. I got really cranky with it. I remember I was on holidays up in the Whitsundays in Australia, which is a very beautiful place, and I was looking at the moon, and it was this beautiful moon, and then I just felt this sense of, loving the moon, and then 2 seconds later, I was, like, depressed, and then I was like, "Oh, I feel stressed," and I was like, "I hate this so much." Like, I'm having 50 emotional states in 3 minutes. Is this the feminine energy? I was like, "I don't like this at all." So I liked things to be kind of where I knew what I was doing, and I knew what was gonna happen, and I could kinda have some sense of control, and that related to me from like family that felt very disruptive and kind of chaotic. And so I didn't like it. But I realized that if I was going to start to get in touch with the feminine energy, and it's just, I could feel that's where I was being led, that's what I needed to do, then I had to accept that it was going to be changeable. And I had to find a way of kind of leaning into something that felt steady so that I could bear the stress of the change. And then after a period of time, I came to like it. I came to be curious about it, and I came to feel free in it, that I
Mm.
could feel what I felt and it didn't have to always be the same, and it was okay to be open. And then my creativity was stronger and many good things happened from it. But I'd say the first thing is allow for the changes. And one of the ways you can do that, if that's difficult for you, is to find something that you can tether to. And that's why I do all my work and write all the decks. It's to
Mhm.
give people a kind of a tether, something, a beautiful tether, a light tether that they can attach to a divine energy or a source of soul wisdom that supports them within
Yeah.
while all of the fluctuations are happening outside. And then from there, you got to kind of be willing to take the journey. So I had a dream when I was first learning to work with this energy, and it just summed it up perfectly. And it was a very short dream. It was just an image, and it was a woman lying on the earth with her ear on the ground, and a man standing above her and saying to her, "What are you doing?" And "You look weird. What are you doing?" And she was just laying with her ear on the earth, and she just said, "I'm listening." And I
Ooh,
thought, "Oh, that's the feminine. It's
yeah.
intuitive. It listens to the feeling and the currents, and it doesn't have to sort of see it from that more masculine perspective where everything's clear. It can move through uncertainty, just following one step at a time with intuition and trusting that things will unfold without us having to be in control or know it all in advance."
You notice the big, massive shift on the planet into this divine feminine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going through it. I
Yeah.
mean, look at how much stuff is playing out in the political arena around the feminine and around the body and
Mhm.
around inclusivity versus separating people and divisiveness and trying to
Yeah.
scapegoat. It's happening everywhere. So, regardless of which side of the political spectrum or in the middle or wherever you sit, you'll be able to see it from every angle. And it's just these are birthing pains. This is the
Mhm.
feminine trying to, in my view of it, trying to come through and emerge and say, come back to your feeling self, come back to your sense of humanity and your sense of spirit. And what is it in your heart that really resonates? What are the deep values here? How do you want to respond to what's happening here? What kind of world do you want to birth for yourself personally? And
Mhm.
also, what do you want to contribute to the collective through how you live?
So true, and, yeah, I think about my own journey into the divine feminine. Wow. I mean, I thought, and I think it's tricky when we're doing work that feels like a hobby that we love, so it doesn't feel like work. So then when I'm slipping into my workaholic mode for many years, I thought, well, I'm getting so much done, but I have adrenal fatigue and I'm exhausted, but
Mm.
look what
I've
I'm
been
doing.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like, look what I'm doing. And then I kept hearing about the divine feminine and nervous system, working with the nervous system. And I said, okay. And it was this, you want me to stop doing this and let go of the grip and the control? And I look at who I was even 5 years ago. I feel like a completely different person.
That's amazing.
But yeah, this current of energy started moving through my body. I mean, I've had some mystical experiences of my own just in meditation of this
Beautiful.
beautiful energy. And I'm like, oh, I can take a breath. Oh, I can slow down. I can trust. And one word that comes to mind when we start pulling in and allowing, not pulling in, really with divine feminine, you're not pulling anything. It's allowing. It's the letting go and allowing. And then this awakening happens and everything really does work out. It's so beautiful. And I never trusted that. Never did I trust that I could let go of the reins and allow. But wow, I learned so much about trust.
I love that you said that.
Wow.
I always think if there's one word, like if I think I've got over 1 million words in print, right? If I could sum up one word from all of it, it would be trust. It would be the
Trust.
thing that I
100%.
feel like I'm saying in a thousand different ways, but
Yeah.
it's always coming back to that. Yeah.
And I want to say, I want to talk about oracle cards for a moment because I've had, when I've even tagged you in mine, I've had people write in and say, what is an oracle deck? What are these things? So can you explain to people like what is an oracle deck? Like how do you, I mean, I know how I use them, but what do you use them or how would people use them?
Yeah. So an oracle deck is generally images and words. and they're in the form of cards.
Yep. They're
And
just
the
cards.
idea, yeah. And the idea is that you shuffle and there's different ways of doing it. You can do it like a Vegas dealer if you've got those skills. For me, I shuffle and something flies out of the deck. That's how I do it.
That's how I
Literally.
do it. One
Oh,
card
do
every
you?
morning. Exactly how I do it. Yeah, yeah.
How fun is that? It's like the energy
It's
just
the best.
shoots something. Yeah, it's it's awesome. Anyways, that's the way. So we like to do it like that, but you could do it any way. Fan it on the table, put your hand over, close your eyes, and just draw one that you feel drawn to. There's a million different ways. But you shuffle, and the idea is that through sympathetic resonance and harmony and the law of attraction, you connect with the card that you need that's kind of resonating for you at an intuitive level. And then you can look at the image and get some kind of intuitive hit from that. And you can read the message and get some guidance from that. Mine are quite in depth because I just can't be quiet. I write a lot. So, people say I'll sit down with a cup of tea and read your oracle book. So you get the message. And the idea with it is that you are supported both levels of the brain, right? Right brain gets the imagery, left brain gets the words. I put a healing process in mine, which brings it together. And the idea of it is you have this kind of mirror into your own inner wisdom and your own intuition. And it's a form of guidance to help you access something other than the guidance, if we want to call it that, maybe the rules in the outer world that say you should approach things this way, you should do things that way, da 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 da. The idea with an oracle deck, at least the way I like to write them, is that it gives you an alternative wisdom and a way to tap into a spiritual dimension that to me is very much just as real as the chair in my room. It's very palpable and very loving and very wise. And it has a very different way of being and framing the world and our life journey to what I would hear and see in the world around me, largely.
It's crazy how, like the one I pulled today, this morning, I was like, oh, kind of heavy energy, and I pulled this card and I was like, oh you can't make this stuff up. Like you cannot,
No.
like how perfect each card is. And some days I'll pull the same, I will shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I'll pull that same card 3 days in a row. And I'm like, and it's
Yeah.
exactly what I need to hear. It's such a way of connecting with the other side, with spiritual guidance. It is comforting to me. Like I do not go one day without pulling a card from one of these decks. Like
I love that. I hear like what you've said, I've heard many times from many people. I think it's a thing. It's a universal thing that you're talking about.
yeah, that's just amazing at how accurate they are. I'm blown away at how it's like they're just speaking to me. It's crazy.
I
Absolutely
love
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. And when I write, I really trust that spiritual dimension. And sometimes when I'm writing, I mean, if you're watching me, I'd seem like a complete crazy person, hopefully in a good way. But I'm just there and I'm writing, and then something will come through and I'll be like, oh, that's so beautiful. And it's like, but I feel like it's coming from almost like a kind of dictation or a kind of channeling that I kind of write it. And I know that there is this intelligence in these other dimensions that are unseen but very real, that are aware of all of us and know how to speak to us. But I often hear people say, I don't know how, it feels like this is speaking right to me. And it is.
It
It
is.
absolutely is. That it's from this beautiful wisdom energy that I love so much. And I think, when you love something that much, you want to share it. You want to, like when you're dating some fabulous new guy and your friends are just like, I don't want to hear about him anymore because you just won't talk about anything else. It's like I love this spiritual energy. I just need to talk about it and to share it in whatever ways I can.
How did you get into this work?
I kind of fell into it. I was finishing up a law degree. I had depression and anxiety and a huge life crisis. I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's just something that I kind of felt like I should do, but I had no passion for it. And I mean, there were hints, right? Like I got busted once in a litigation class because I was secretly reading a book on chakras behind my mock trial notes. I was like, do you think that's a sign? But anyway, I didn't know this could be work. I'd never encountered it before. So I was finishing up my degree and quite depressed. And then a friend said to me, you need to go and see this psychic who works at this, crystal shop. And she just kept badgering me until I said, all right, I'll go. And as soon as I met her, she said to me, oh, you should be doing what I'm doing. And then this voice came out of my mouth. I don't even know where this voice came from. And it said with absolute certainty, I know. And I was like, what's this voice? What does it know? How is this me? And I don't know this me. And then very quickly, within a short period of time, I studied meditation with her for less than 2 years, but I think it was in about 3 months, 4 months. She said, come and do a psychic fair, read tarot cards for people. And I thought, oh, I'll go and do that. I said, I'm terrified. I don't know what I'm doing. And she said, you'll be fine. The first 10 readings, you'll be fine. It took me one reading. I didn't even use cards. I just sat there. This woman sat down in front of me. And I still remember I had this image of a camera pop into my mind. And I just said to her, do you like photography? And she's like, yeah. And that was it. I was off, blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
And
what?
so it started there. And then I started teaching and then I started writing and it all kind of bloomed like these. It was very irregular and felt very inelegant. I didn't know what I was doing a lot of the time. I only knew this feels right, this part of it, but I couldn't see the whole picture. I didn't really know how things were going to unfold. And then eventually I had an opportunity to write an oracle deck, which I'd wanted to do. And I did that and it just kept blooming.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite messy, but in a way, I think it's meant to be. And I don't mind the messiness. I can kind of handle that because it feels organic and it feels sort of real.
You were blooming. I use that word often. Like we don't know what we're here to do. We have to let ourselves bloom into whomever it is we're here to be. I don't know who that is,
Beautiful.
right? Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, talk about the heart. How do you guide people with their heart? What do you think we need to work on with our heart space?
I love that you asked that because I get asked that question a lot and I'm often surprised by it. We can take things for granted, right? But a lot of
Mm.
people say, how do I connect with my heart? Like, this is a
Mhm.
thing. I feel like I'm walking around like a heart on a pair of legs. It's like, sometimes it's a lot. And I thought, oh, so I really, over the years, I've been thinking about that. And this one thing that I always come back to is kind of like the heart hack, like the easy way to drop into that is just
Yeah.
a simple gratitude list. I find that's the first thing and the faithful thing that will always bring you into your heart space. So
Mm.
just like 3 things that you're grateful for.
Yep.
Do it every day if you need to, morning and night if you like. But that instantly drops us into a sense of presence and that gratitude connects us to the heart. And then it's just starting to feel for the rhythm of it and the quality of it. Same with
Mm.
intuition.
Mhm.
It's in us, it's there. It's just it has a slightly different rhythm or pattern to the way that the brain works or the mind works. And I find for me, one of the ways that I really drop into the heart is anything to do with art, creativity, journaling, things that don't necessarily have a very strict purpose. You know, the mind's very good at organizing, kind of get things done, make lists. I love a good list, love
Mhm.
it. But it's kind of like the heart is more in that feeling space. So gratitude and then some kind of creative self expression. And I remember, I said earlier that when I started working with the divine feminine, I really didn't like it. And there were times when I raged and it's connecting with the heart is the same. I was like, what is this? Why am I like having to run around feeling what it feels like to wear different colors? What the hell? How is this productive? Right? I would really get in a strop about it. And like, because I came out of law, like I want to make a list and do the things and really that part of me that was very good at getting stuff done
Mhm.
really didn't like being told to go and smell the roses and feel the
Mm.
sunset and whatever. But I realized after some time, first of all, I needed to do it because it was a way to counteract depression and bring me home to myself. So I needed to do it.
Mhm.
After a little while, I then realized it was also helping me understand the feeling language of the heart because it's a little bit more abstract. It's more, in my view, in my experience, it's a little bit more like sensing things or feeling that kind of, it's almost more than an emotion. It's subtler, with that deep intuitive feeling of, yes, take this step, even while your mind might be going, that's crazy. Here are all the reasons why that
Yeah.
can't work, or who am I to do that? There are so many other people doing that. Why? Where's the space for me to do that? Whatever it is that the mind says, and the
Mhm.
heart's just like, just do that, and none of
Yeah, it's
that
just
comes into it.
quiet. It's just
Just
direct.
quietly, quiet, direct, doesn't waver. This feeling that just won't go away, regardless of how many mental maneuvers you try to perform, it comes back to just do that. So you need to have a way to drop into that. And if it's feminine things like playing with how you dress, seems like it's nothing, but it's about self-expression and
Mm.
feeling and connecting more with your individuality than what's going on in the, the fashion and the trends around you. It's such a little thing. It's such but an accessible thing. And
Mhm.
it's a way to begin to bring you home to yourself. So anything that helps you connect with that feeling function is
Mhm.
really important for that, I feel.
And that too, it seems that we're moving in that direction on the planet as well. More and more people are talking about like, "Oh, wait, how does that make me feel?" versus, "What do I think about that?" Do you find that
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I
Yeah.
mean, we want them to meet, right? But we just
Yeah.
don't want to put the thinking function completely in the driver's seat. It needs to serve. I think if the mind serves the heart, we'll be living a life where we feel fulfilled and we feel like we're making a difference in our own lives and in the world. And we want more people who are living in that way. And I think it's happening. That's
I
what this
think so
birthing
too.
pain is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure. All right. So what is your who are your you have so many people like Kali, Kuan Yin, Mother
Yeah.
Mary. Who's your favorite? Like who do you
Ah!
I know that's a hard one, Isis.
I can never answer that question. The best response I can give you is in some way, all of those beings to me are one, and they're just different
Mhm.
outfits that they wear. So depending on the mood on the day, there are days when I need Carly, when it's just like
Oh yeah.
there's a lot. Yeah, and you need that
I know how
kind of,
that feels. I'm like,
those days?
I need the
You know, just
Kali deck today.
yeah, I need some fierce sword energy to just cut
Yes.
through all of this
Yes.
BS that's going on. I just
Yes.
can't. Yeah. So sometimes you need her. Other days I need Mother Mary, and it's just she's like my dear
Oh,
friend. Like, don't you love her? She's so
love,
great.
love.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My sister stole the deck and I just took it back. I'm like, I need this back again. It's a beautiful deck. Yeah. They're all beautiful. So
Oh, thank you for sharing.
yeah, it's so lovely.
Yes,
Lovely.
I love her a lot. I grew up with my grandmother saying the rosary beads every night to Mother
Um,
Mary. Like she was my kind of, from being a very young child, I just had this connection with her. And even when I kind of no longer particularly identified with being of a certain religion,
mhm,
I went through that process and where I kind of felt like I can respect all paths, but I don't want to be bound to one. I want to feel free and universal to love in whatever way.
mhm,
She always moved with me. I never lost her.
mhm.
I remember when I started exploring paganism and looking at that, my very Catholic grandmother said, "Do you still love Mary and God and Jesus?" And I went, "Yes, always,
Of
always."
course.
Now I'm just looking at tree spirits, but it's all good. There's no conflict here.
I love it. What do you have do you have a deck for Mary Magdalene or no?
No, but I would love to. I would
Yes.
really love to. I've been reflecting on her a lot lately and her incredible ability to send. I mean, we're talking about the heart and intuition, right?
Yes.
She
Yes.
just got
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
all the Christ teachings, she just got it in this deep way. I think
Yeah.
because she came from that heart space, and the heart can understand and grasp things in the way that the mind is more like that dude in my dream who's going, "What are you doing lying on the
Yes.
ground?" And it's there
Yes.
going, "I'm feeling the rhythm." Like, how do you
Yeah.
not feel this? Yeah.
I love that. I would love a Mary Magdalene deck. I'm
Thank
planting
you.
a couple seeds on
It's
that.
received. Yeah.
Oh, this is so lovely. Anything else you wanna share?
Mm. There's one other thing I want to touch on, which is just you mentioned the goddess Isis. And I just want to
Mhm.
say, I think for the times that we're going through,
Yeah.
there's something about her story. There's a few elements of it that just feel so powerful. And I think there's two things. One, this story that I always remember about her when she was trapped in the spinning house. So she was trapped in this kind of prison. And
Mhm.
she called on her friends and she didn't say to them, "Get me out of here." She said to them, "Remind me who I am." And
Ooh,
I love that
I
story
love
about
that.
her. Yeah, because I think it's reminding us of our innate resourcefulness, that we
Mhm.
have it within us to do what we need to do this lifetime. But sometimes we just need our friends around us to say, "Hey, remember who you are. Like, remember what you're capable of." So I love that. And the
Mm.
other thing I love about her is she never gives up, no matter how hopeless things may look or how much there can be difficulty, or she kind of has these false starts where she'll begin to do something and then forces come in and disrupt and, turn it to smithereens and she has to start all over again. But she never gives up and she does accomplish. So it's this
Mm.
sense of innate capacity and this determination. And she's always guided by love. And there's something about her that I feel in our lives at
Mhm.
this time when we're going through these fluctuations on the planet, which are actually a huge opportunity for us as individuals to really kind of ride the energy like a surfer on a wave and say, okay, there is all this instability around us, but I can work with that. I can free myself from where I've been stuck, and I can give roots and seed something new that's going to feel like it's more aligned with my heart and soul and the kind of person that I want to be and how I want to live my life and what I want to
Mm.
radiate as a light in the world. You know, Isis brings us so much of that hope and that encouragement and that kind of sassy defiance and
Yes,
positivity. Yeah, so I just want to mention that she's very special. Mm.
I do. I love her. And Kuan Yin, I mean, boy, do we need compassion now more than
Oh,
ever.
I know. One of her forms is called the universal gate. I
Oh.
freaking love that so much. I just think of the gate as being the thing that opens to let through what needs to come through and closes to keep out the stuff that shouldn't be there, you know?
Mm.
So I always think of her as being a protector and an empowerment to receive simultaneously. I love her a lot. And her mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, so
Yes.
simple.
So
Anyone can,
simple.
yeah, and you can do it and just imagine her in your heart space. There's a Kuan Yin practice. So accessible.
Yeah. Say her mantra again for anyone that's listening that wants to just
Yeah, so
and
it's
explain to people how they would use the mantra.
it's Om Mani Padme Hum.
Mhm.
And it's a mantra that is just comprised of these seed syllables, and each one of them purifies an aspect of our being. So it's a complete practice. And the way you use a mantra is like you would use a prayer, but because, I mean, the meaning of mantra is mind protection. So it helps you focus on something. So when there's a whole bunch of crazy going on in your head or in
Mm.
the world, or you're
Mhm.
just feeling like you're stuck, and we talked earlier about this eclipse energy as being like switch down and reboot. You
Yeah.
can use mantra as kind of a mini reboot. So you allow your mind, your heart, your attention to focus on the sound of the mantra. You can be grateful in your heart, repeat the mantra, feel the energy of that, feel the energy of that sound, and just let it wash through you. And the more you focus on it, the more you're allowing everything else to begin to dissipate, break up some of the, it's like metabolize spiritually and let the sound permeate and transform it. It's an alchemy practice. You
It
know,
is. It
it's
really is.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
so simple. You know, anyone can do it. You don't have to get initiated to do that. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. It works.
Mhm.
So I love that about her. She's for all beings, Kuan Yin. Yeah.
Yeah. And her story, gosh, I just love it.
Yeah.
Oh my. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the work that you put into the world. It's just I look at these like just a companion. My oracle decks are my companion walking through life with me, but you do so much else in the world. Thank you. You have beautiful music. I mean, there's so much that you're doing. So thank you. Thank you for all the energy that you're putting into the world. We need you. We need it.
Oh, likewise, Michelle. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Where would people find you if they want to learn more, if they would like to look at all of your things that you have going on and your oracle decks and everything else?
Yeah. The website's probably the easiest. It's alanafairchild.com. And then
Okay.
I have YouTube and Instagram and all of the things. But yeah, you'll find me online as a starting place. Yeah.
Perfect. And we will put that right in the show notes. Do you have any courses that you're teaching anytime soon? Anything coming
Yes.
up?
Yeah, I'm always teaching something. So I have some courses on Isis and the goddess Kali. Mother Mary is a new one that I'm working on with
Ooh,
connects people to the divine feminine and our instincts and intuition. So I'm working on that now. So that'll be coming out towards the end of this year, early next year. But yeah, you'll find all that on the website.
okay. We'll
Yeah,
be checking it out. Thank you.
thanks.